Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is your host of the Champion Over Everything podcast, RJ. I am here today with a champion over finance. Yep, we are doing another special episode. Just kind of take a break from our faith episodes, but I have today with me my sister. She's a mother, she's a minister, she's a wife, she is a close friend of mine, one of my favorite singers of all time. I have the champion over finance, Miss Courtney Payton. Courtney, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for coming along to help share your story in the world of finance and the things that you've
Thank you
championed
for
over.
having me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. One other thing about Courtney, she'll tell a little bit more about herself, but Courtney is one of the only financial advisors, female, Black African-American female financial advisors in the state of Mississippi for the company that she works for. So, Courtney, tell me a little bit more. And what did I leave out?
Well, that's the major part. That's what for me, that is one of the most important things about my work is that while I'm not the first, I am currently the only female African-American advisor for our firm. And there are only two other African-American advisors to my knowledge in the entire region. So for me,
wow.
you know, where most would see that as an obstacle, I see it as an opportunity. So a part of my purpose with our firm is to create a space for representation so that other female African Americans will see that there's opportunity for them within our firm. And this is not firm wide because our firm is really big on diversity and inclusion. It just happens to be that in the Deep South in Mississippi, I'm the only one. And I'm okay with that.
You unicorn.
Yep, that's me. Black girl magic everywhere.
Hey, I like that. Well, as always, as we kick off our show, Courtney, we like to start with a champion story. With finance and you personally, I know you've been in finance for like some years. Ever since I've known you, you kind of been dealing with finance in some type of way. Whether it was loans, whether it was financial aid, and now you're a financial advisor. But overall, what is Courtney's champion story? What is your story?
I mean, I gotta say, Reggie, that, you know, one of the common misconceptions about financial advisors is that we're just filthy stinking rich. We're not. We're regular people, but that's also what makes us good advisors to our clients. And so, if I had to say what my champion story would be, it has got to be overcoming, you know, my own personal struggles with joblessness. Because though I'm here right now, and I think it's really pertinent for the current climate that we're in. You know, I went from being a loan manager to not being anything at all. And then I went to being the director of student finance to, again, not doing anything at all, to landing on this side of finance. And I really believe, Reggie, that in the beginning part, you know, I've been in finance for the last 10, almost 11 years. And I really believe that at the beginning, the Lord just really allowed me to see how much people struggle and how necessary it is for us to prepare. You know, there's a story in the scripture in Proverbs talks about the ant and how they work hard and gather for the harvest. So I was always on a side where I was able to help people at the end, you know, when they got to find ways to bring all the ends together and find ways to make things meet. And so across the course of this 10 years, I'm really blessed and fortunate to be on this side where I can offer more value, if you will, and help people to take a more proactive look at their finances and also a more provocative, because, you know, my husband has taught me this, and I don't mind saying it, you know, he's my husband, but he teaches me stuff sometimes. He has taught me to learn to ask people questions that get them thinking. And in my work, that's what I can do, you know, and so that's my champion story, coming from the side where I'm meeting a need at the very last tail of it, as opposed to avoiding the need altogether. And that's where I am, because when I can help people prepare, then they don't have to go see the loan office, or they don't have to put their dreams of going to college on hold because they don't want to take out student loans. There's so many moving parts, but, you know, I feel like this is really a place for me to allow my past experience to marry the purpose that is with me now.
It's amazing that you said that, because as you were talking, I got to thinking, God has a unique way of giving us everything we need for whatever season we have in our life, right? And just thinking about your journey from the loan officer, right, to know now where you're able to help people set up investments for the duration so they're no longer having to be in debt. I think that's amazing, because God allowed you to do the first job so you can see how people kind of struggle with their debts, and now you have that ability to connect with people from that side in order to help them prepare for the future. So that's amazing. Courtney, I gotta ask you this. Were you always passionate about finance, or what led you down the track or to the road to the world of finance?
No. I can remember, Reggie, my daddy telling us always save something for a rainy day.
Yeah.
And my papa telling us that money just burning a hole in y'all pocket. Y'all just can't keep it. You have to spend it. So I have not always been passionate about finance. As a matter of fact, I used to be the most frivolous person, spending money unnecessarily.
Exactly.
But I tell you, and that's how I know for real that this is God ordained, because my very first job in finance came from my aunt, who is a Christian, has been, a teacher of Christian principles. She connected me with the right person. Okay. And I've been in finance ever since. Not because I wanted to help people with their budgets, not because I wanted to help people save money. For me at the time, it was just my job, not realizing that it would transform into a way for me to help my community and advance the kingdom at the same time. Because even in my work, just as a loan manager, and even in my work as the director of student finance, and even now, my faith, my Christianity is my compass. So, while people get regular Courtney, you think you're just getting my personality, but what I believe about the Lord, what I believe about Jesus and the Holy Spirit inform everything I say and do. And so that's how I can say it's purpose. This is nothing I would have ever chosen for myself, because it's hard work.
Yeah.
I'm employed with my firm, but it's hard work because this is my practice. This is my business. They don't give me they don't give me a book of clients. I have to create them. I have to build them. And so this is hard work, child. I would have never chosen this for myself. Yeah. But I always tell the Lord, I never wanted a work or a job just because I thought it was what I needed. Only put me there, Lord, if this is your perfect will for me. And the way this happened, when I was getting ready to take this job, I said, okay, God, if this is for me, let them make me the offer by such and such date. And then as the way things unfolded, it didn't seem like the offer would come on that day. And I was okay with that, because all along I had been saying, okay, well, this is what I want, Lord, but if this ain't what you want from me, don't give it to me just because I want it. They made me the offer the day before I had asked the Lord to let them make it for me.
Wow.
I said, well, okay, Lord, I see you, and I'm going to sign on the dotted line, but this is not easy work. So I would have never chosen it, but this is purpose.
You were ordained for it. That's amazing. That's amazing. So with that ordination, being where you are right now, as I think about it, a lot of times when we deal with financial managers, and for those that's listening and watching, Courtney is my financial advisor. So, I am invested in her. She's invested in me. But there are often common misconceptions about what a financial advisor does. So can you explain your role overall?
Yes.
Okay.
If I wanted to be very generic, then I would say I help people to reach their long-term financial goals. But I want to take that a step further and say I tailor the solutions that I offer based on the person. So for example, if I'm meeting with a couple who's in their early 30s, they're not going to have the same goals as the person that's in their early 60s, late 50s. And so I help parents get their kids into college and kind of fetter some of those costs that they're going to encounter. I help people prepare for their retirement. I help my clients to make sure that when they retire, they can still maintain their standard of living. I help my clients build their estates, because when they die, they don't want their wives to have to deal with their kids saying, my daddy left me this and this is mine. So I help them. I walk with them hand in hand through the entire process. I take them to my attorney friend and we get the will done, and then I walk back with them and we set a timeline to liquidate the assets. So I provide value. That's what I do. A lot of people think that I'm a salesperson. I am not, because if we don't have a good relationship, then you don't need to be looking at investments with me anyway, because you don't trust me, you don't know me, you don't have a good feel for me. So I'm in the relationship business, which is really the amazing thing about my work. Once I get past people thinking the common misconception that I'm just a salesperson and it's all about products, once they get in the ebb and flow of talking to me and getting to know me, they realize that this is a lifetime partnership. So it's about adding value and accountability, truthfully.
Okay. So I heard adding value, accountability, but I also heard relationship. My previous background was managing people, and that was one of the big things. Like, yeah, we were in a sales environment, but if you didn't connect with your customers, then you could never help that person out the way that they really needed to be. I remember one time, one of my old coworkers had moved on and went to work for a financial institution. All right. And because we had a relationship, I listened to him. Let me see what you're going to offer. But a couple of weeks later, after he got my service and got me over, he was gone. So we cut our ties because we no longer had that relationship. So I definitely feel that is value within itself. Having that relationship, somebody who you can call, Courtney, look, this is what I'm thinking about doing for long term. This is what I want to do short term. How can you help me? So I definitely think that's great for the people out there to know that you are more about that relationship than just the bottom line of growing the company and growing the business. That's going to come, but you got to have that relationship, right?
I think with a lot of times, I like to tell people ours is not a public firm. So you wouldn't be able to get on the market and find shares of Edward Jones that you could buy because we're not a public firm. And so when we talk about profit and bottom line, it's not so that the shareholders can do whatever. We own our own company, right? Okay. So it's all, employee owned in that regard. And when you mentioned goals just a second ago, I'm big on setting goals, whether they're short term or long term. And when people have plans that they want to put into place, I want to make sure that I give my very best effort to help them make sure they get where they're trying to go. I always like to tell people, if you want to be a Walmart greeter when you retire, if you want to go back to work and sit up there and say, hey, let it be because you don't have anything else to do with your time and you just like meeting new people, not because you didn't plan or prepare. And that's what you have to do to make ends meet. Yeah,
awesome. One thing I know when we deal with money, when we deal with finance is, the time value of money, right? Being able to invest early because your money is going to be worth more long term. My question that I pose to you is, how do we change mindsets? Because, we got those people out there, those mattress banks, right? They got money stuffed in the mattress at home or stuffed in a lockbox or a Foot Locker, something at home, and they have yet to invest. So they have missed out on the time value of money aspect. So how do we connect with those people and help to change their mindsets about money long term?
I really believe, Reggie, that a person has to be willing to learn. So, you and I, and we're lifelong learners, we're always learning, adding degrees and so on and so forth. But if a person is not a lifelong learner, there's really no change in their mind about money. I mean, and those are just the hard facts. Some will, some won't, and that's okay. Because more than just the time value of money, there's so many moving pieces. Because if a person is older, they may not have a whole lot of time to earn that time value of money. If they're 68 and still have their money in their mattress, they're probably going to leave it there. There's no convincing a 68-year-old to take their money out when they feel like they don't have too many more years on the earth. But I will say for the younger adults, just put the information out there and be able to show them I like to use my own time value of money calculator when I'm meeting with my clients or when I'm meeting with people who are considering working with me. I like to show them because the proof is in the pudding. A lot of times when you can show people what a small investment amount will do, that gets them excited and that gets them motivated about doing the work to reach the end goal. So for those who have a whole lot more time left, I would say, come see me, call me. Let's set a time that we can take a look at what you want to do and find out if it's feasible. It's never too early. It can be too late though.
Yeah. And I'll tell y'all this about Courtney. You know, Courtney works, I won't say around the clock, but she is pretty flexible about trying to get you taken care of and meeting your needs. So, you know, definitely check Courtney out. Courtney, we are coming to the close of the interview. But before we do, the call to action, the key takeaway, anything that you want to share that I didn't ask, but anything that you want to share with the audience, you know, the listeners, the viewers, about how to champion over their finances?
I would say get a second opinion, whether it's an opinion that is second to your own thoughts about your money or an opinion that's second to someone else who works in finances about your money. Because when we're sick, sometimes we hear a diagnosis and we don't want to hear it. We're going to go and get another person's opinion and they may say something different. So I say get a second opinion. Call an advisor, set an appointment, do some research. The call to action is to take an action. Get a second opinion because you never know what more you can find out if you just take that second step. Don't leave it where it is. There's opportunities for growth for every single thing in our lives, not just finances, but just us as people. There's opportunities for growth and they manifest in different ways. Get a second opinion. It'll be worth it.
Awesome. Courtney, one last thing. So for people that are wanting to learn more about money and how to use their money responsibly and how to champion over their finances, where can they find you? How can they
get in contact with you? They can find me on LinkedIn, on Facebook /Edward Jones, and then on my website, www.edwardjones.com/Courtney Payton, and they can also find me at my office. I am taking in-person appointments. Please mask up, Hattiesburg. 6760 US Highway 98 West. We are all the way out across from Lake Serene. So I can be found in 4 places right there. Then they can call me at my office, 261-3747. I'm always working. So whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, website, in the office, call me. That's 5 ways that you can find me to answer your questions.
Awesome. What about this? So for people that may be in North Mississippi and they see this, they hear this, they want to connect with you, can they do like an appointment, like a virtual appointment, a Zoom, go to meeting? Is that option available?
Yes. In this tech-savvy COVID-19 context, everything is done via Zoom. I see clients in person that would rather come in to see me, but most of it is done via Zoom and some are done over the phone. And even for people who are outside of the state of Mississippi, I'm licensed in New York, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, a couple other states. I can't think of all of them right now, but
yes.
If they want to work with me as their advisor, I'm pretty sure I'm already registered in their state. Just it's literally a phone call. Hey, let's talk. And be ready to talk, right? Be serious about it. I want to make the most of our time together. I don't want to waste yours, and I don't want to have to reclaim mine. So,
auntie.
Right.
But that's you right though. So look, champions, that concludes our show today. Man, Courtney, it's a blessing. It's an honor. Thank you so much for coming on to be able to share how people can stay connected and how they can champion over finance. It was definitely a good thing that we were able to connect. Thank you for helping my family out, for being there for us.
Absolutely.
And helping us to help our girls out long term. And, hopefully God will continue to bless you in all that you do. I know this is a platform for your ministry as well. Because you are able to build relationships, but not only build relationships, but help people to grow in the areas to where a lot of people really want to grow in. So
Mm-hmm.
Courtney Payton has been our guest today. Make sure y'all connect with her. If y'all do have any questions or missed any information, feel free to reach out to me at championovereverything at gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram at Champion Over Everything, and also our website, championovereverything.org, to where we will have blog posts posted, and also the videos from this and other things. And YouTube, we are on YouTube as well. So once again, no matter what you do, always move forward and be a champion over everything. Thank you, Courtney. Take care.
Thank you.